Welcome to Tom Travel 4K, where today we take you beyond the guidebooks into the real heart of Vietnam. Not just the places you've seen in photos, but the ones that live quietly in the mist, where rice paddies breathe beneath the mountains, and time still moves to the rhythm of the land. This isn't the Vietnam of fast tours or crowded checklists. It's the Vietnam of silent mornings, drifting clouds, and stories whispered in the wind. From highland villages to river deltas, from jungle temples to fishing coasts, we'll go where the earth still sings and the spirit of a nation lives on, untouched and unhurried. This is Vietnam Unseen, captured in stunning 4K. Let's begin the journey. Ha Long Bay rises from the Gulf of Tonkin like a vision sculpted in stone and silence. Each limestone karst juts from emerald waters like ancient sentinels, their jagged forms softened by mist and time. Legend says dragons descended here, their tails carving out the valleys and their breath creating the clouds that drift endlessly above. And standing on the deck of a boat at dawn, watching light spill across the water like liquid gold, it's easy to believe this myth might be true. What makes Ha Long Bay remarkable is not just its surreal beauty, it's the stillness that wraps around you like a second skin. As your boat drifts through the bay, you pass floating villages where life continues much as it has for generations. Fishermen in conical hats cast their nets with motions passed down like prayers, slow, deliberate, and graceful. The water reflects every movement, turning each gesture into a dance between man and sea. More than 1,600 limestone islands and islets scatter the bay, many with names inspired by their shapes: fighting cocks, stone dog, incense burner. These names aren't just poetic, they reflect a local way of seeing, of reading the land like a storybook. Inside some of these islands are hidden caves like Sung Sak Cave or Thien Kung Cave, where stalactites hang like frozen chandeliers and chambers, echo with ancient mystery. When you enter, it's not just sightseeing. It feels like stepping into the lungs of the earth itself. But Ha Long Bay is more than a postcard-perfect view. It's a living cultural landscape. Life here ebbs and flows with the tides. Children row small boats to floating schools. Women sell fresh seafood from canoes. Meals are shared above the water, and stories are told with salt in the voice. It's a harmony between human and nature that feels rare and fragile. Environmental protection has become increasingly important here, and rightly so. Ha Long Bay is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, not only for its geology but for its ecological significance. Coral reefs, mangrove forests, and tropical ecosystems support a wide variety of marine life, from hawksbill turtles to seahorses. Responsible tourism, such as kayaking through quieter lagoons or joining eco-friendly tours, helps ensure this beauty endures. As a guide, I've seen people go quiet in Ha Long Bay, not out of boredom, but out of reverence. There's a power in this place that doesn't scream for attention. It simply exists, ancient and unmoved, inviting you to slow down and listen, to really be present. That's when the magic happens, not in the photo, but in the stillness between the waves. In Ha Giang, roads cling to cliffs and impossible curves, winding through karst peaks that ripple like stone waves frozen mid-motion. Here, motorbikes hum beneath prayer flags fluttering above valleys stretched wide with firewood smoke. Life in Hanvan and Mio Vises moves slowly, not from lack, but from rhythm. Children run barefoot through foggy fields while elders sip corn wine on stone porches, the scent of earth and hearth deep in every breath. Stone fences encircle homes made of mud and thatch, and each trail feels like a passage through memory, rather than space. Ha Giang doesn't offer itself easily, but when it does, it leaves something lasting. This region sits at Vietnam's northernmost edge, a realm where landscapes and lifestyles have resisted change for centuries. Towering limestone mountains slice the horizon like ancient spines, and in their folds, the Hmong Dao and Tay people continue age-old ways of living, terracing the hills, weaving intricate brocade, and gathering around markets that burst into life with color and chatter each week. These ethnic highland communities bring vibrancy to the land, not just through dress, but through spirit. Conversations hum in local dialects, but the warmth in their eyes needs no translation. Every turn in Ha Giang feels both intimate and vast. The Ma Pai Leng Pass, one of the 4 great passes of Vietnam, offers a panorama so staggering it stills even the most seasoned traveler. Below, the Emerald No Cook River cuts through deep gorges, winding like a quiet ribbon between jagged cliffs. Along these mountain roads, nature is not just admired, it's respected. It commands stillness. The highlands breathe in clouds and exhale silence. There's no need to rush here. Markets unfold on mountaintops at dawn, wrapped in mist, where vendors trade not just goods but stories: smoked buffalo meat, honey, mountain herbs, the rhythm of life exchanged hand to hand. It's not uncommon to hear a flute song carried by the wind, played by a young Hmong boy perched on a hillside. Music here is not performance, it's expression. Traveling through Ha Giang is less about destinations and more about presence. You don't come to tick off sights. You come to feel the texture of stone beneath your boots, the echo of laughter across valleys, the breath of old mountains resting in your chest. This is not just the edge of Vietnam. It's the beginning of a deeper connection with the land, with time, and with something unspoken that lingers long after the journey ends. Hoi An doesn't shine, it glows softly like a memory you didn't know you had. The yellow walls of its ancient town flake gently under the sun, whispering stories of a once bustling trading port that connected Vietnam to Japan, China, and the West. The Thursday Bond River glides past slowly, like a story told in a single breath, carrying with it centuries of culture, spice, and silk. Lanterns bloom at dusk, swaying across narrow alleys and arched bridges, not just as decoration, but as living symbols of hope and tradition. It is a town where silence feels sacred, where every corner seems to hold the hush of 1,000 footsteps. Traders, poets, and lovers woven into the fabric of time. Strolling through Hoi An is like walking through layers of history. You'll find centuries-old houses built in a fusion of Vietnamese, Chinese, and Japanese architecture, like the iconic Japanese covered bridge, with its mythical guardians and centuries-old wooden planks. Step into hidden courtyards where blue spirals of incense rise beneath faded ancestral portraits. Here, tailors whisper over fine silk, shaping garments with quiet precision, while the scent of fresh herbs and grilled ban hem drifts from street corners. Hoi An's soul lives not only in its buildings, but in its rhythm. Time moves slower. Here, not from lack of modernity, but from an intentional way of life, as if the town is asking you to breathe with it, not past it. The ancient town is closed to motorized vehicles for most of the day, allowing bicycles and footsteps to reclaim the streets, restoring a quiet harmony. In the evenings, small wooden boats glide across the river, carrying locals and visitors alike who gently release lanterns into the water, each one a wish, a prayer, a fleeting spark dot just outside the town. The countryside offers a different, yet equally rich experience. The lush rice paddies of Truckyu village, just a short bike ride away, hum with the sound of farmers tending their crops. In the nearby craft villages, artisans mold clay, carve wood, and weave mats using techniques passed down through generations. And if you're here during the full moon, the Lantern Festival transforms the town into a glowing dream. Electric lights fade, traditional music fills the air, and the town feels like it has slipped gently into another century. Hoi An doesn't ask to impress. It waits for you to arrive, to slow down, to listen. And when you do, when you truly let yourself move with its rhythm, you'll find that this place doesn't just remain in your memory, it becomes a part of you. Marble Mountains rise just beyond the reach of Da Nang's modern sprawl, a cluster of 5 limestone and marble hills named after the 5 elements: metal, wood, fire, and earth. But this isn't just a geological formation, it's a spiritual tapestry woven through centuries of devotion, craftsmanship, and quiet reverence. As you ascend the worn stone steps carved directly into the hills, you'll find more than just panoramic views. You'll step into a realm where temples breathe incense and time folds gently into silence. Inside the caverns, light filters through cracks in the rock, casting shifting patterns across ancient altars. Buddhist sanctuaries rest within the cool interiors, their statues softened by candlelight and age. These caves have long been places of refuge and reflection, not only for pilgrims, but also for warriors during Vietnam's wars, who once hid here beneath the watchful eyes of stone Buddhas. The air is thick with stories. If you listen closely, it almost hums with memory. One of the most remarkable sights is Wien Kong Cave. Its massive interior is pierced by shafts of sunlight, creating a natural spotlight that falls directly onto the altar. Here, silence speaks. Travelers from all over the world have stood in awe, not because of grandeur, but because of the stillness, the kind that seems to settle deep in the bones. Offerings of fruit and incense rest beside weathered carvings, each one a quiet prayer suspended in time. Around the mountains, artisans have practiced the craft of stone carving for generations. In the villages at the base of the hills, marble workshops still echo with the rhythmic tap of chisels. Here, masters shape sculptures of deities, animals, and intricate reliefs, continuing a legacy passed from father to son. Though most of the carving now uses imported stone to preserve the integrity of the mountains themselves, the spirit of the tradition endures. As a guide, I often tell travelers, don't rush. The beauty of Marble Mountains lies not only in what you see, but in how you move through it, slowly, mindfully. Wander through the pagodas perched on cliffs. Trace your fingers along cool stone walls. Let the smell of burning sandalwood guide your steps. And when you reach the summit, where the horizon stretches over city, sea, and sky, pause. The view is breathtaking, yes, but it's the journey inward through temples, tunnels, and echoes that leaves the deepest impression. The Han River cuts through Da Nang like a silver thread quiet at night, glowing beneath the Dragon Bridge. But this river is more than just a picturesque backdrop. It carries within its gentle current the breath of a city in motion and memory. By day, it reflects the pulse of modern life, ferries gliding past, the hum of scooters along Bach Dang Street, children flying kites in the riverside parks. At night, it softens. Lights from cafes and lanterns shimmer across its surface, and the rhythmic sway of the tide feels like the city is exhaling. Historically, the Han River was a vital artery for trade and fishing communities long before Da Nang became one of Vietnam's fastest-growing cities. Boats once carried cinnamon, fish sauce, and bamboo down its waters to ports beyond. Today, its role may have shifted, but its spirit remains the same, connecting lives, carrying stories. Locals will tell you that the river has a memory, that it remembers the festivals, the families, the fires lit on its banks, and the many bridges that have spanned its waters like links between generations. One of the most iconic sights along the Han River is the Dragon Bridge, a marvel of modern engineering and symbolism. Shaped like a dragon stretching across the water, it breathes fire and water each weekend night, drawing crowds of families, travelers, and street performers. But beyond the spectacle, the dragon represents strength, prosperity, and the city's deep cultural ties to myth and meaning. From the riverbanks, it's easy to feel both the weight of history and the momentum of progress. Further along the river, the quiet elegance of the Han River Bridge, the first swing bridge built by Vietnamese engineers, reminds us that Da Nang is a city of transformation. Each night, the bridge turns on its axis to allow ships to pass, a silent dance of metal and purpose that most visitors never see. Yet for those who pause, who linger on the riverside benches as music floats from rooftop cafes, the river offers a kind of meditation, where time flows not in hours, but in reflections. The Han River doesn't shout for attention. It draws you in with subtle grace. It invites you to walk beside it, to watch how the light changes on the water, to notice the way locals gather for sunrise exercise or twilight strolls. And in that stillness, it shares something intangible, a feeling that the city doesn't just live beside the river, it breathes with it. Up on the Azan-Tra Peninsula, the land feels suspended between sky and sea. Banyan trees twist their ancient limbs over steep cliffs, roots clinging to stone like memory to time. This isn't just a viewpoint, it's a natural sanctuary where the wind carries stories older than the city below. The red-shanked Duke langurs, rare and almost mythic, leap like spirits through the canopy, their vivid fur flashing between leaves, a living treasure protected within this biosphere reserve. Locals often call this place the green lung of Kon Tum, and it's easy to see why. Stretching out into the East Sea, Azan-Tra holds more than 4,000 hectares of forested mountain, much of it still wild, untouched. Early mornings here feel sacred. The mist rolls in from the ocean, softening the sunlight and the call of birds echoes through the ravines. If you're lucky, you might hear the rhythmic crack of woodpeckers or the whisper of monkey trails through the undergrowth. Along the ridge, hidden pagodas rest in quiet dignity, like Lin Ning Temple with its towering Lady Buddha statue. She doesn't stand as a monument, but as a guardian. Facing the sea with open palms, her gaze stretches across the horizon as if blessing every ship, every soul that passes. Locals come to offer incense, prayers, and quiet wishes beneath her shadow, believing she watches over the bay through storms and calm alike. The peninsula is more than scenery. It's a living ecosystem, a meeting point of biodiversity and belief. Winding roads trace impossible curves up the mountain, offering views of Kon Tum that change with every bend. One moment, a wide stretch of coastline glowing gold under the afternoon sun. The next, a jungle-draped valley disappearing into cloud. For photographers, it's a dream. For travelers, it's a breath of stillness between fast-moving cities. During wartime, Azan-Tra was known as Monkey Mountain to American troops, a strategic lookout point. Today, it's a reminder of how the land heals, how green has returned where fire once scarred. Military bunkers still sit quietly in overgrowth, now visited more by hikers than soldiers, blending history into the hills. Down below, the shoreline sparkles with coral reefs and hidden beaches like Biwi Bide and Tuan Sa, where fishermen anchor wooden boats and the sea remains clear and rich. Diving and kayaking are popular here, yet even in activity, there's a quietude. Azan-Tra never overwhelms. It simply invites. What makes this place unforgettable isn't just its beauty, it's the balance. Between wild and sacred, between silence and song, between human footsteps and the pulse of something older. When you stand there, with the wind at your back and the ocean at your feet, you don't just see Vietnam, you feel it watching back. Mui Ni Peninsula is a place shaped by wind, fire, and silence, a coastal landscape unlike anywhere else in Vietnam. Here, The sun rises slowly over vast red and white sand dunes that stretch like shifting deserts, glowing beneath a sky that feels both distant and eternal. At dawn, footprints trail across the ridges, only to vanish with the breeze, as if no one ever passed through. Kite surfers dance along the horizon, where the sea and wind seem to share center stage, performing an endless duet that changes with the tide. But Mui Ni is more than its iconic dunes. It's a land where contrasts blend seamlessly. Arid hills meet a restless ocean, and centuries-old fishing traditions thrive beside modern resorts. The local fishing village, humble yet full of life, is a mosaic of blue wooden boats resting in rows on the tide. These vessels, worn smooth by salt and time, are not just tools, they are stories. You can see it in the weathered hands of the fishermen, casting nets with a rhythm passed down like a prayer, or hear it in the gentle crackle of firewood at night, when the village winds down under a sky scattered with stars. Beyond the dunes, the ferry stream flows like a quiet whisper, between cliffs of red and white sandstone. It's a miniature canyon you can walk barefoot through warm water, running gently over your feet, surrounded by formations that look like they belong to another planet. This stream isn't just a natural wonder. It's a meditative walk where each step feels like a return to something forgotten. Locals speak of it with fondness, and many believe it holds a quiet, protective spirit of the land. Closer to the shoreline, the breeze carries the scent of salt and sweet sugarcane juice, sold by roadside vendors under swaying palms. The rhythm of Mui Ni is slow but purposeful. Here, people rise with the sun and live by the sea's clock. Pepper farms dot the inland hills, their scent mingling with frangipani blossoms, while dragon fruit farms bloom bright against the dry earth, a surprising burst of color in the golden landscape. Temples sit quietly above the coastline, offering sweeping views and moments of reflection. Some are still tended by aging monks who light incense beneath banyan trees. You might hear the chime of a bell or the gentle flutter of prayer flags in the breeze. Mui Ni doesn't shout for your attention, it waits. And if you walk its dunes at sunrise or listen to the wind curl around the fishing boats at dusk, you'll begin to feel what many travelers miss. This is not just a place to visit, but a place to breathe. A place that doesn't try to hold you, but somehow stays with you long after you've gone. Phu Quoc isn't just an island, it's where silence, salt and sunlight blend into something timeless. At dusk, the sun sinks slowly into the Gulf of Thailand, turning the sea into molten gold. Shadows stretch across the sand, and fishermen anchor their boats in quiet coves. The only sounds are the creak of wooden hulls, waves brushing the shore, and the soft exchange of stories passed down through generations. Along the pier, baskets overflow with sea urchins and shrimp, while laughter drifts through the air like music on the breeze. It's not loud, not rushed, Phu Quoc speaks in rhythms older than memory. But beyond these tranquil shores, the island holds layers often missed. Deep inland, pepper farms stretch across red earth, their scent caught on the wind. Black, white, and red pepper, all cultivated by hand, have made this island famous across Vietnam and beyond. Visiting a pepper farm offers not just a taste of the land, but a conversation with it. Locals will tell you how the changing climate, the monsoons, and the soil all shape each harvest. And while the product is exported globally, the process remains deeply personal and rooted in tradition. Hidden along forest paths are waterfalls like Suohitran and Caban, where the jungle breathes cool and green. Here, dragonflies hover in golden shafts of sunlight, and birds echo between the branches. These places invite stillness, not just for tourists, but for those seeking something quieter within themselves. You can walk barefoot along the ferry stream, where warm red water curls through sandstone canyons like a forgotten dream. It's a landscape that doesn't shout. It hums gently. High on the hills sit solemn temples, like Din Siu and Ho Quoc Pagoda, watching the tides come and go. You'll often find offerings of lotus flowers and incense curling into the sky. From their terraces, the view opens wide, not just to the sea, but to the passing of time itself. Below, the night markets come alive with light, spice, and song. Ban Trang Encheng sizzles on charcoal grills, tropical fruits are stacked high, and woven lanterns cast warm shadows across cobblestones. And perhaps this is the heart of Phu Quoc. It doesn't try to impress. It doesn't compete for attention. Instead, it invites you to be still, to breathe, to listen. In doing so, it reveals a beauty that feels untouched, not because it's hidden, but because it never had to raise its voice to be seen. The island doesn't hold you back. It lets you go, gently, like sand slipping through your fingers, leaving only the warmth behind. Hong Kim Lake is more than just the heart of Hanoi, it is its soul, quietly pulsing beneath the chaos of modern life. Time moves differently here. Locals don't rush through, they stroll. They sip tea on worn stone benches under centuries-old trees. They watch the water mirror the sky and speak softly, as if afraid to interrupt the silence that gathers between ripples. Known in legend as the Lake of the Returned Sword, Hong Kim carries the memory of a myth deeply woven into Vietnamese identity. It's said that Emperor Li, after receiving a magical sword to drive out foreign invaders, returned it to the golden turtle god right in these waters. That myth lives on not just in stories, but in the quiet reverence with which people pass this lake every day. The Red Bridge, or the Huck Bridge, arches gracefully across the lake, leading to Jingok Sun Temple, a small sanctuary perched on an islet. Early in the morning, as the mist lingers low and the city is still half asleep, you'll find elders practicing Tai Chi beneath banyan trees. Their movements are deliberate, like whispers written in the air. Lanterns flicker. Incense coils rise from temple altars. And just beyond the hush, motorbikes hum, never quite able to break the spell of this place. You don't just see Hon Kim, you listen to it. The rustle of leaves, the soft patter of footsteps on aged brick, the echo of street vendors calling in the distance. It's a city soundscape filtered through memory. But Hon Kim is not only legend and nostalgia, it's a living, breathing part of everyday life. Couples take wedding photos beneath the ancient trees. Painters capture its stillness in watercolors. Teenagers gather with guitars, their music drifting over the water like modern prayers. In autumn, the lake is rimmed with falling leaves that drift like golden confetti across its surface. In recent years, Hanoi has transformed to dramatically. Glass towers rise, traffic thickens, trends shift. But Hon Kim Lake holds its ground. It resists the rush. It reminds both residents and visitors that the soul of a place isn't found in its newest buildings, but in the quiet spaces it protects. The lake doesn't ask for attention. It doesn't need to. It simply offers a space to pause, to breathe, to remember where myth meets morning mist, where time doesn't race but lingers. To visit Hon Kim is to understand Hanoi not just as a capital city, but as a keeper of culture, history, and rhythm. A city that, like its lake, knows how to reflect. The Mekong Delta breathes slow and wide, like an old soul cradling generations in its muddy arms. This is not just a river system, it's the lifeblood of southern Vietnam, a vast maze of tributaries, rice paddies, and floating worlds where life follows the tides, not the clock. Here, time flows differently. Villages rise gently along canals, stilt houses leaning into the water, shaded by coconut palms and banana groves. Children laugh as they splash barefoot in the shallows, and the air carries the scent of silt, smoke, and something quieter tradition. At dawn, the delta awakens in gold and mist. Wooden boats drift across the river, not in haste, but in harmony. Floating markets, such as those in Kai Rang or Phong Jian, come alive with gentle voices and vibrant colors. Pineapples, watermelons, and lotus flowers pass hand to hand, no loud haggling, just the rhythm of a life rooted in patience. Vendors here don't just sell goods, they pass down stories, offer blessings with fruit, and trade in the kind of honesty only found where rivers have shaped the soul of a people. Behind the waterways, narrow footpaths snake through emerald rice, fields tended by families for generations. Farmers wear conical hats not just for shade, but as a cultural echo of centuries. You might catch sight of a water buffalo moving slowly through the fields, its pace matching the calm of the land. Here, labor is a song, and the earth answers back with abundance. Temples, often hidden behind dense foliage or tucked at the ends of quiet lanes, rise modestly with golden spires peeking through the trees. These are places of offering, stillness, and belief, some honoring river spirits, others tracing Buddhist lineage, all wrapped in incense and the hush of respect. In towns like Essajek or Trevin, the architectural traces of French, Khmer, and Chinese influence still live on, woven into the textures of old villas and community halls, creating a cultural patchwork as fluid as the waterways themselves. Mekong Delta isn't a place that tries to impress with grandeur. It invites you to listen. To the creak of wooden hulls at dusk, to the laughter shared over bowls of hutch tuku and fresh coconut, to the gentle hush of oars gliding through mangroves. It's a region that flows into your memory as gently as the rivers wind through its land. And if you sit quietly enough, you'll understand the Delta doesn't just show you Vietnam, it teaches you how to feel it. Ban Giac Waterfall doesn't thunder with chaos, it sings with grace. Its white spray rises gently between limestone cliffs like the breath between two worlds. Set deep in Vietnam's northern frontier, right on the border with China, Ban Giac is not only one of the largest waterfalls in Southeast Asia, but also one of the most serene. Water cascades over a multi-tiered cliff, spreading out like a natural curtain, each stream finding its rhythm among the karst peaks and lush forests that surround it. The Quay San River, calm and jade-colored, flows steadily beneath, as if in no hurry to leave the limestone's embrace. Villages rest softly in the surrounding valleys, where still houses reflect in still ponds, and bamboo groves sway gently. In the breeze, the local Tay and Nung ethnic communities have lived here for generations, shaping the land with quiet devotion. You'll often see children running barefoot through terraced fields, laughter echoing across the mountains, mingling with the rhythmic sound of wooden mortar and the distant murmur of flowing water. It's a place where tradition isn't a performance for visitors, it's a way of life. Elders weave textiles by hand, and men paddle simple wooden rafts across the river, navigating by instinct and memory. Just a short walk from the falls lies Phat Tich Truc Lam Ban Giac Pagoda, perched high on a hill overlooking the valley. From here, the view is breathtaking, not only of the waterfall, but of a landscape shaped as much by silence as by time. Incense curls skyward from the altars, and the scent of pine and earth fills the air. Pilgrims often stand quietly, absorbing the stillness that this sacred ground holds. The temple, though built in recent years, feels timeless, its curved roofs and stone dragons, echoing ancient architecture and a reverence that runs deep through Vietnamese culture. The nearby Ngam Gum, Ngao Cave adds another layer to the experience. A vast underground cathedral carved by nature over millions of years. Inside, stone formations rise like frozen waves, stalactites hang like chandeliers, and pools reflect the dim golden light of lanterns. The name Ngom Ngao means tiger. Cave, inspired by old legends of tigers once roaming the area. But today, The only sound is the drip of water and the soft whispers of awe from visitors exploring its depths. Banjia doesn't announce itself loudly. It doesn't try to impress with spectacle. Instead, it invites you to slow down, to listen, to feel. This is where nature speaks in its purest form, through water, stone, and wind, and where every echo reminds you that the most powerful experiences are often the quietest. Where mountains breathe and clouds drift like slow-moving thoughts, Sapa unfolds in the early light like a watercolor painting brought to life. Terraced rice fields ripple down the hillsides in golden waves, each curve carved patiently by hands that have shaped this land for generations. On the high ridgelines, water buffalo stand still as statues, guardians of the earth molded by time and tradition. Wooden villages cling to the slopes, their roofs soaked in fog and morning smoke, where children run barefoot through the mist, their laughter echoing across the valleys. In Sapa, life moves in rhythm with the land. Markets awaken with the scent of grilled corn and herbal teas. Hmong Dao, Tay, and other ethnic groups gather, not for spectacle, but to carry on a way of life that has endured through centuries. Their clothing, handwoven and dyed with indigo, tells stories passed through generations. It's not just fashion, it's history sewn in thread. Hiking through the Muang Ho Valley, you'll pass ancient stone carvings left behind by unknown hands, silent witnesses to a people who lived in harmony with the rhythms of the earth. The trail weaves between rice paddies, bamboo forests, and villages where time doesn't race, it flows. Locals may greet you with a quiet smile or invite you to share a simple meal of sticky rice, wild vegetables, and home-brewed corn wine. It's not tourism, it's hospitality rooted in Seoul, above the clouds. The peak of Fansipan, known as the Roof of Indochina, pierces the sky at over 3,100 meters. Whether you reach it by cable car or by foot, the view from the summit is humbling. Prayer flags flutter in the wind, tethering sky to stone, color to belief. Up here, the air feels thinner, not just from altitude but from reverence. You're no longer just a visitor. You're part of the silence. And in the heart of Sapa town, French colonial buildings meet hill tribe culture, a contrast of histories that somehow feel at ease beside each other. The Sapa stone church stands like a quiet anchor, and just beyond, cafes fill with the scent of cinnamon coffee while clouds roll down the streets. Like soft waves. Sapa doesn't perform for tourists. It listens, it observes. And if you move slowly enough, if you let the mist wrap around your thoughts, you'll begin to feel it speak. Not with noise, but with presence. A presence born of wind, earth, and quiet resilience. A presence that doesn't try to impress, but simply waits for you to notice it. Hue whispers through time like a song half remembered, its history folded into every moss-covered stone, every river reflection. Once the imperial capital of Vietnam, this city does not simply show its grandeur, it breathes it. You don't walk through Hue, you drift through centuries. The perfume river cuts through the heart of the city, slow and silken, mirroring pagoda spires, royal walls, and the fading light of dusk. Here, history does not sit in museums. It lingers in the air, in the scent of incense, and in the quiet. Footsteps across citadel courtyards dot the imperial city. A UNESCO World Heritage Site stands not just as architecture, but as a memory made solid. As you step through the Ngo Mon Gate, you feel the hush of ceremony, the echo of royal footsteps, the weight of dynasties that shaped Vietnam's cultural soul. The Forbidden's Purple City, though weathered by war and time, still holds an air of silent majesty. Its red lacquered columns, lotus-filled ponds, and crumbling stairways speak of both power and impermanence. But Hue is more than just relics. It lives in its rhythms, slow, deliberate, and dignified. In hidden garden houses called Na Vuan, generations preserve a blend of Confucian calm and Vietnamese hospitality. Locals brew lotus tea with quiet precision, share stories passed down like heirlooms, and serve imperial-style dishes where even a bowl of rice feels sacred. This is a city that teaches you how to slow down, to observe more and speak less. Outside, the old walls, the tombs of Nguyen emperors lie scattered along the riverbanks like sleeping poems carved into stone. Min Mang's tomb rests in perfect symmetry, a vision of cosmic balance between earth, water, and sky. Khai Din's mausoleum, by contrast, dazzles with dark stone dragon mosaics and European influences, a fusion of East and West under one gilded roof. Each tomb is a biography in architecture, revealing the philosophies, ambitions, and temperaments of those who once ruled. And beyond the history, Hue's soul pulses in its music. The strains of Na Nat Kung Din, Royal Court. Music still echo through chambers and festivals, recognized by UNESCO as an intangible cultural heritage. It's delicate, restrained, haunting, much like Hue itself. Even the rain in Hue feels poetic. Mists soften the edges of rooftops, drops beat on ancient tiles. The entire city becomes a watercolor in motion. To many, it seems subdued. But to those who listen, Hue doesn't whisper, it sings. A song of memory, of resilience, of quiet pride. A city where the past doesn't vanish, it becomes a companion. Nha Trang, a coastal jewel of south-central Vietnam, carries a rhythm all its own, not hurried like the cities, nor too still like the highlands, but fluid like the tide it calls home. It's more than just a beach destination. It's a meeting point where the mountains lean close to the sea, and tradition rests beside modern leisure. You won't need to rush here. Nha Trang invites you to move slowly, to feel more than just the sun on your skin. Mornings often begin with golden light stretching across the bay, the sea shimmering like molten glass. Fishermen return in long, wooden boats, their nets heavy with the ocean's offerings. On the shore, the scent of grilled seafood mixes with salt air, and locals gather at the morning market exchanging stories as naturally as goods. Nha Trang's fishing heritage is not a relic. It lives on the waves, in weathered hands, and in the hush that descends over small coastal harbors as dusk approaches. Beyond the main beach, you'll find quieter corners. Hun Chong Promontory, with its massive stone boulders stacked like the bones of giants, offers panoramic views of the coastline and the far-off islands. Stand here at sunrise, and you'll understand why local legends speak of ancient gods frozen in time. Inland, Po Neger Cam Towers rise above the city's modern sprawl, red brick monuments from the 8th century that still breathe with incense and prayer. Dedicated to the goddess Yan Po Neger, these towers connect Nha Trang to its Cam roots. Step inside, and you're surrounded not by silence, but by whispers of centuries, carvings worn smooth by time, yet alive with meaning. Island hopping from the port reveals an entirely different side. Each islet, Hun Mun, Hun Tam, Bin Bea, holds its own character. Some offer coral reefs, their colors blooming beneath clear waters. Others host quiet fishing villages where time flows like the tide, steady and warm. Scuba diving here isn't just recreation. It's a way to witness life unfold where light bends and reef fish dart like living brushstrokes. And then there are the salt fields, glistening under the southern sun, quiet, geometric, and oddly poetic. Workers in conical hats harvest salt, by hand moving slowly, their shadows long against the white. It's a labor of patience, a reflection of the people who call this place home. Nha Trang isn't loud. It doesn't demand your attention, it earns it, softly, in the breeze that carries both sea spray and temple bells, in the subtle rhythm of a place shaped by water, faith, and enduring hands. To walk through Nha Trang is to walk a thread that connects past and present, tradition and transformation, always moving, like the tide, but never forgetting where it began. Bai Din Pagoda doesn't just rise from the land, it emerges, steeped in history, mythology, and the quiet breath of devotion. Nestled among the limestone hills of Ninh Binh province, this vast spiritual complex stretches across more than 700 hectares, making it the largest Buddhist temple in Vietnam. But size alone doesn't define its significance. What sets Bai Din apart is its ability to blend ancient reverence with modern craftsmanship, to offer a sanctuary where past and present walk side by side. The journey begins beneath a long, covered walkway lined with over 500 stone arhats, each carved with a different expression, posture, and personality. Their presence is not ornamental. They are guardians of wisdom, silent companions for pilgrims as they ascend toward the heart of the temple. As the path winds gently upward, the air thickens with incense and mountain mist, and the echo of footsteps feels like part of a much older rhythm. Though the new Bai Din Pagoda was completed in 2010, its roots run far deeper. Just nearby lies the original ancient Bai Din Temple, dating back over 1,000 years. It was here that monks once meditated in mountain caves and offered prayers under the shadow of trees. These sacred grottos, one dedicated to Buddha, the other to the mountain genie, still remain. Their walls blackened by centuries of candle smoke, their silence profound. The modern complex, by contrast, is monumental. The Great Buddha Hall holds a 100-ton bronze statue of Amitabha Buddha, cast in open-air furnaces on site, the largest of its kind in Southeast Asia. Nearby, a 13-story stupa pierces the sky, offering panoramic views of the surrounding karst landscape and rice fields. Prayer flags flutter from its balconies like whispers of faith carried on the wind. But perhaps the most moving aspect of Bai Din is not its records or grandeur. It's the way it invites stillness. Monks in saffron robes move quietly through the courtyards. Visitors pause, not out of obligation, but from a shared reverence that needs no translation. Even the breeze seems to carry a low hum of chant in time at dusk, as the lanterns glow softly against stone walls and the last light dances off lotus ponds. Bai Din reveals its deeper nature, not just as a destination, but as a space of reflection. It is a place where the sacred isn't shouted, but felt, where every step becomes part of a pilgrimage, and every breath echoes something far older than words. Bai Din doesn't simply show you Vietnam's spiritual soul, it allows you to walk within it. In the heart of Ninh Ben province lies Trang An, a place where limestone peaks rise like ancient sentinels from a river that flows as quietly as time itself. Here, the landscape doesn't shout. It whispers, in ripples, in shadows, in the soft lapping of water against oars carved by hand. Boats glide through emerald waterways that thread their way through caves, under mountains and past rice fields that shimmer gold beneath the sun. This is not a place you simply see. It's a place you feel with every breath, every glance, every silence. Trang An is often called Halong Bay on land, but that comparison only hints at its wonder. While Halong rises from the sea, Trang An emerges from the land's marrow, shaped by water, time, and sacred stillness. As your boat slips beneath limestone arches and into cave chambers carved by millennia of flowing rivers, you pass not only through stone, but through memory. The locals call this the place where earth and sky meet in reflection. The mirrored surface of the water reflects not only the towering karst cliffs, but something quieter, a stillness within ourselves. The region is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, protected not only for its spectacular geology, but also its cultural depth. Ancient temples rest at the feet of cliffs, built centuries ago by kings who saw in this land not only beauty, but divine purpose. The Trin Temple, the Suoi Tun Temple, and the iconic Dia Lin Mountain are not just stops along the route. They are echoes of devotion, woven into the land like threads of incense smoke curling through time. Locals still live by the rhythm of the river. They speak softly, row slowly, live fully. Their boats are guided not by engine, but by muscle and memory, using a traditional foot rowing technique passed down for generations. This is not out of necessity, but out of harmony with the land, the water, and a way of life that resists the rush of modern noise. In the early morning, mist clings to the surface of the water like a veil, and birds call from the cliffs above. The caves, Sang, Toi, Bajiat, don't just offer passage, they offer perspective. Light filters through cracks in the rock, painting the stone walls in shades of silver and green. In those moments, you're not just passing through Trang, and Trang An is passing through you. This is a landscape carved not just by geological time, but by cultural reverence. A living map of Vietnam's soul, hidden in plain sight. Beneath the emerald folds of Nen Bin, Tam Kok Pik Dong whispers its story through water, stone, and silence. This is not just a place to visit, but a passage to something elemental, where limestone cliffs rise like ancient guardians over slow-moving rivers, and caves open like hidden verses in a sacred poem. Locals call this the Ha Long Bay on land, but here, the stillness runs deeper. It's a place shaped by both natural artistry and the quiet rituals of daily life. As your boat drifts gently along the Geo Dong River, rowed by hands that seem to know the rhythm of water better than time itself, the world begins to blur into reflection. The karst mountains ripple in the water like brushstrokes on silk. You pass beneath grottos so low you instinctively bow your head, not just in caution, but in quiet reverence. These caves, Hang Ta, Hang Hai, and Hang Ba each hold centuries of whispered legends. In the half-light, cool air flows like breath from the earth itself. Above the river journey, nestled into the cliffs, lies Bik Dong Pagoda, a three-tiered sanctuary built into the mountain. Its name means Jade Green Grotto, and standing here, among moss-covered gates and incense smoke curling into the stone, it's easy to understand why. The temple complex seems less built and more grown from the mountain, its stairs leading you through layers of silence and devotion. You don't just climb upwards, you ascend inward. In spring, golden rice fields stretch wide between the water and mountains, fluttering like living tapestries. Farmers in conical hats walk barefoot through the paddies, their pace unhurried, their lives flowing with the seasons. In autumn, the colors deepen, and the air turns crisp, carrying the scent of earth and wood smoke. Birds echo across the valley, and dragonflies skim the river's surface in a slow dance with the light. Tam Kok is more than a landscape, it's a living rhythm, a meditation carved in limestone. Unlike more crowded tourist sites, here time still walks barefoot. Life unfolds slowly, a vendor offers fresh fruit from a boat, an old man tends a riverside shrine, and laughter from local children rises through the reeds. Even in stillness, the land is never silent. If you listen carefully, you'll hear the stories passed down in gestures, in the way the rowers steer with their feet, in the careful steps across temple stones worn smooth by generations. Tam Kok, Bit Dong doesn't demand awe. It earns it gently, with each quiet curve of the river and each breath between the cliffs. Nestled quietly in a lush valley surrounded by mountains and jungle, Miwe San Sanctuary is far more than an ancient ruin. It is a spiritual echo of Vietnam's layered past. Once the religious and cultural heart of the Kampa Kingdom, this sacred site dates back to the 4th century and flourished for nearly a millennium. Its temples, crafted from red brick and sandstone, were dedicated primarily to Shiva, reflecting a deep spiritual connection between the Kampa people and Hindu cosmology. Walking through the sanctuary today feels like stepping into a forgotten story. The temples don't rise grandly, they emerge from the earth, softened by time, moss, and silence. Many of them still bear Sanskrit inscriptions etched into stone, whispering names of kings long vanished and prayers sent skyward over 1,000 years ago. You can still see the exquisite carvings dancers mid-motion, mythical creatures, lotus blooms weathered yet remarkably intact. These details speak not only of devotion, but of a refined architectural and spiritual aesthetic unique to Kampa civilization. Incense drifts like memory through the courtyards, where sunlight filters down in beams that touch the stones with reverence. The surrounding forest hums with cicadas and the rustle of leaves, a living reminder that nature never left this place, it simply waited. Some structures stand proudly, others are fractured by war, with scars left by American bombs during the Vietnam War. But even in ruin, there's resilience. Miwe San doesn't feel like a monument to loss, it feels like a place that endures. Unlike Angkor Wat's grandeur or Borobuder's scale, Miwe San speaks in a quieter tongue. Its beauty lies not in perfection, but in presence. This is a site that reveals itself slowly, asking you to listen to the stillness, to the forest, to your own breath. As a guide, I often tell travelers, this is not a place to check off a list, but a place to absorb. Sit among the ruins, feel the heat of the bricks under your hand. Watch how the shadows move across the carvings as the sun travels westward. Today, Niwai Sen is recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, not just for its historic value, but for the sacredness it still holds. Restoration work continues, carefully preserving what time and weather haven't claimed. And yet, it is that very imperfection that makes Niwai Sen unforgettable. This is where the past is not buried, but quietly breathing beneath layers of vine, under stones once lifted by sacred hands, in the air thick with stories unspoken. Here, time doesn't pass. It pauses. And if you stand still long enough, you'll feel it too. Beneath the dense emerald canopy of central Vietnam lies a hidden kingdom of stone and silence, Phong Nha Kabang, a place where the earth opens not with violence, but with awe. The limestone mountains here are among the oldest in Asia, shaped over 400 million years, their bones etched with stories written in stalactites and whispered in echoes. Deep beneath the surface, the ground is hollowed by time and water into a vast cathedral of caves. Sun Dung, Paradise, Phong Nha, and countless others still unexplored. In the heart of this UNESCO World Heritage Site, the Phong Nha Cave itself welcomes you with a wide mouth carved by the Sun River. As your boat glides into the darkness, the temperature drops and the world narrows to a corridor of echoing water and stone. Illuminated by soft light, the stalactites hang like frozen rain, and each chamber opens into the next like a secret unfolding. Some say the formations resemble lions, Buddhas, or dragons. Others just sit quietly, overwhelmed by the quiet, cathedral-like reverence. Beyond the caves, Kabang National Park stretches into thick jungle and soaring peaks. Trails wind through karst cliffs where rare langurs leap and hornbills call from the canopy. It's not just a park. It's a sanctuary of biodiversity, home to species found nowhere else on Earth. The forest breathes, dense with ancient ferns and orchids, and if you walk slowly enough, you might feel it exhale. In local villages like Sun Trach, life moves with the rhythm of the land. Farmers tend peanut fields under karst shadows, and at sunset, children splash in the river that disappears into the cave mouth like a story being retold. There's history here too, not just natural, but human. During wartime, the caves sheltered thousands, their walls blackened with soot from torches, their silence broken only by prayers for survival. The crown jewel, Sun Dun Cave, remains the largest in the world. So vast it has its own ecosystem, clouds and jungle. Inside, collapsed ceilings create skylights where light spills onto primeval terrain. To step inside is to leave time behind. The journey to reach it is not easy, trekking through remote valleys, crossing rivers, and sleeping under stars. But the reward is more than visual. It's spiritual. Phong Nak Het Bang doesn't shout for attention. It listens, waits, and if you approach it with wonder, it responds not just with beauty, but with a deep, grounding stillness. This is not just a landscape. It's a living, breathing memory of Earth itself. Dance Cave, better known locally as Hang Mua, is more than just a limestone cavern. It's a gateway to one of the most breathtaking panoramic views in all of northern Vietnam. Tucked away in the heart of Ninh Binh, just a short ride from Tam Coc, this place rises from the karst landscape like a mythical dragon frozen mid-flight. Climbing the 486 stone steps carved into the side of the mountain is not merely a trek. It's a journey that threads through ancient legend and awe-inspiring scenery. According to local folklore, this is where the kings of the ancient capital, Ho Lu, came to watch imperial dancers perform, hence the name Mua, meaning dance. While the cave itself is modest in size, it serves as the base for what truly draws travelers here, the hike to the peak. As you ascend, stone dragons slither along the ridgeline, guarding the summit like silent sentinels of the past. Every turn reveals a shifting perspective. Lush rice paddies stretch far below like a green ocean, and the Ngo Dong River winds gently through limestone valleys, its waters glinting under the sun like silken motion. The climb is steep and uneven, yet it offers a kind of meditation. Step by step, the chaos of daily life falls away, replaced by the rhythmic echo of your footsteps and the quiet pull of the mountain. On misty mornings, clouds drift low, wrapping the cliffs in silence. It's as if time hesitates here, inviting you to feel instead of rush. If you reach the top at sunrise or sunset, the entire landscape turns to gold. The cliffs glow, the fields shimmer, and the distant boats below move like brushstrokes in a living painting. This isn't just a place for photos, though it's one of Vietnam's most photographed viewpoints. It's a place that humbles you. The scale, the stillness, the history carried in the wind. You can almost hear the old songs of rice farmers and the soft footfalls of dancers long gone. Beneath the cliffs, Hang Ma's garden area offers lotus ponds and quiet footpaths that bloom with color during summer. It's a space designed not just to visit, but to breathe in. Hang Mua stands as a reminder that some of the most unforgettable places aren't reached easily. They ask something of you, but in return, they offer more than just a view. They offer a feeling, one that lingers long after you've made your way back down those stone steps.